Now we said that Matthew's birth story of Jesus works on two levels. It is an essentially Jewish story, but it's full of explosivity, of political explosivity, and it speaks to the Roman Empire as well. And that's what we want to look at here. So what would a Roman Caesar, a Roman emperor, a Roman official, what would he have understood when he read this story? For that, we need to just quickly have a look at what does it mean if a star is rising? What did it mean in the Roman culture? And the answer is we have two Caesars here whose life was marked out by celestial events. The one is Caesar Augustus, and Luke actually refers to him later in Luke's gospel, that he was the Caesar at the time of Jesus' birth, and the other one is Nero. Now, Nero lived about AD 66, so he was in power when the young Christians fought for their faith, and he was one of the most terrible emperors. But what does that mean here? Now, Augustus was the son of Julius Caesar, the adopted son, and after Julius Caesar was assassinated, a bit of a civil war broke loose, and Augustus was the one who won that civil war. And he succeeded Julius Caesar on the throne of Rome, and he was, as far as everyone was concerned, he was the king of the world. Now, when Augustus was crowned, there was a huge celestial event that was of such significance that they imprinted coins to remind people of that. And on those coins, they called Augustus Divi Filius. That's Latin and means son of God, because of that star that appeared at Augustus's crowning, people assumed that this star would be Julius Caesar going up into heaven and taking his place among the gods, and Augustus is his son. And from that moment on, Augustus was more or less declared divine, based on that star appearance during his crowning. Now, for Nero, in AD 66, there was another celestial event, and we know today that this was Halley's Comet, that appeared over Jerusalem and was very, very visible. Now, what we know from Roman sources is that after that has happened, people started to take Nero less and less seriously. Why? Because they assumed that new star that has appeared meant that a new ruler was on the way. That meant that a change in power would be imminent. And even though Nero continued to reign for 2 years or so, he lost a lot of his influence because of the appearance of the star. People assumed the new king, the new Caesar, would be on his way shortly. And so when Matthew is telling the story and he says, actually, there was a huge star appearing at Jesus' birth, we know what he's getting at. He's saying the new king of the world has been born. And this new king, as we'll see later, will start an entirely different kind of kingdom that he's inviting